Plant-Based Congresswoman Kathy Castor. I'm so happy to be home here in St. Pete. Just got back from Washington late yesterday. We are going to honor some real community heroes today. We're so grateful for this community. The last time I was here in the police department was, it was kind of the command center after Hurricane Helene, or during Hurricane Helene and Milton. And Mayor, thank you for your leadership throughout the storm season. We have a lot of work to do on rebuilding, but can you come up and say good morning before we get started? Great.
Y'all give Congresswoman Castor a hand, please. Congresswoman Castor, I want to thank you for your leadership, not only during a storm event, but every day of the year for our community and for our city. You're right. This is kind of a this brings back memories. I was looking at Amber walking back in this room. It was 5 months ago that we were in this room dealing with Milton, and it's a testament to our community, to the folks in this room, how far we've come in 5 months, how we pulled together as a community. Today we honor not only community members, but also members of our St. Pete team who, even going through those storms, they were personally affected. And I can tell you, even as I was doing press conferences in this room, I did not know that some of our team leaders who were in the press conference were dealing with 4 feet of water in their home at the time. So they didn't know if they had a home to go home to, yet they were doing the best thing for our community. And we came through it strongly. We came through it with our community being safe because of the work of team members across our community, but I want to focus on the City of St. Pete teams who, in several departments, made sure folks were safe, folks were moved out of harm's way, and then folks were able to go back to their neighborhoods when it was safe to do so. And that's really a testament to the folks who you're going to recognize. So I want to thank you for making this recognition happen. I also want to thank our team members on the St. Pete City Council, and Councilmember Deborah Fix Sanders is with us today, so thank you for your partnership as well. And to all our city council members and our city team, thank you for making us, I think, set the standard for public service in the City of St. Pete. And Congresswoman Castor, thank you for recognizing them today. So thank you all for being here.
You know, I've grown up here, lived here all my life, and I know many of you have as well, and this really was the worst hurricane season in our lifetimes, and causing so much damage to people's homes, their livelihoods. But what I saw during these unprecedented times was unprecedented heroism and commitment from public servants. And I'm grateful to Mayor Welch, Councilwoman Fig Sanders, and I see Nikki Capehart from the Urban League. That was an important backstop for neighbors. Chief Holloway, Chief Watts, all of you in this room, all of the first responders. What I witnessed at that time was just incredible commitment to our neighbors. There are a few people who really deserve a pat on the back, though, and public acknowledgement. So I've been doing these Hurricane Hero acknowledgements. It was because in the aftermath, especially during that time between Helene and then the stress of Milton, looking like a buzzsaw out in the Gulf, there were people who just were undaunted and said, we're going to get through this no matter what. And then when Milton dumped more rain than we've ever seen in our lifetimes and flooded people out and they lost power, it simply marked one of the most challenging times in this community. But again, the people who stood up are absolute heroes, and we simply didn't want months to pass without thanking them publicly and making sure that their service and commitment was held up. So we're going to acknowledge each of these recipients today. They were nominated. We put out a call for Hurricane Heroes to make sure we were capturing the heroism. And the first was nominated by St. Pete Police Chief Tony Holloway and St. Pete Fire Chief Keith Watts, Amber Bolding. Why don't you all come on up, because I'm going to I'm going to tell everybody of what you did. Amber's with the St. Petersburg Fire Department. She was nominated for her exemplary leadership and unwavering dedication during the hurricanes. Most notably, during Hurricane Helene, she and her family were experiencing being flooded out of her own home. Her husband and children were being evacuated, but Amber stayed true to her commitment to her neighbors and stayed on the job, guiding the city's emergency response. She refused, it was never even a question that she was going to leave her post. That's the kind of public servant she is. She worked to ensure the safety of this community. Her selflessness and commitment to the well-being of all of our neighbors across St. Petersburg simply exemplified the highest standards of public service. Nothing short of heroic. So Amber and Chief, do you want to come up, Chief, and brag a little bit about this extraordinary public service?
I most certainly will. Thank you. Thank you, Congresswoman Castor, and thank you, Mayor, for your guidance and leadership through the hurricanes. Amber, if you look up in the dictionary, I'm sorry, I'm dating myself. If you Google, best emergency manager, you will find a picture of Amber. So Congresswoman Castor laid out some of the reasons why Amber was nominated. But I think I will speak on the character of Amber. And obviously, as was mentioned, Amber did a tremendous job guiding us through those hurricanes, and even, in fact, while going through some of the personal challenges. And, you know, a lot of us didn't know, Mayor, that Amber was going through some of that until midway through it. So, Amber, again, thank you. It's a pleasure to work with you. You are a tremendous asset for not only the fire department, but for the fire rescue department, but for the city of St. Petersburg. Thank you for everything that you do.
I'll try to talk a little bit.
Yeah.
So, first, thank you so much, Congresswoman Castor. The Congresswoman has been here, a familiar face in our Emergency Operations Center, from well before the storms, during the storms, through the storms, and still advocating for our community. So first and foremost, thank you so much. And just the spirit of these awards and traveling around and honoring people who put in the work, whew, it's very appreciated. Walking into this media room, like Mayor, I haven't been in here since, the press conferences. And at first I thought, this will be easy because, I'm not talking about bad news. I get to come, something positive, and that's not true. This is much scarier. I feel like I need to look up a weather forecast. Thank you. This means a lot. It's really easy, and I want to say I'm just doing my job, right? This is what I'm hired to do. It was certainly a challenging year. We say it takes a village, and it truly does. And it's not just my village at home. My husband, my kids are here. They got, put through the ringer as well. Stand up. Without my home village, I certainly couldn't do what I do. But my family here at work, my city, my city family, my fire family, not only with the wonderful city team that I'm surrounded by that helps make my job much easier, especially in those types of situations. Everybody's a leader and everybody steps up and everybody's the hurricane hero. But even further than that, so that I could stay at work, when I went home to try to pull drywall and dry out my house, after working here all day, sometimes there were people at my house, I weren't even sure who they were, that was wheeling out, wet drywall, and I'm just like, wow, just the support that just surrounded us. I am forever grateful for that. To my fire family who came out and, measured the drywall, cutting out drywall, hauling it out for us, the village is really what I take from that, what I'm so thankful for here at the city. So thank you, Mayor, our council, so supportive, our Congress, thank you so much for what you do. And very humbled. Again, this is way scarier than dealing with a hurricane right now. So I appreciate all of you for coming out, and to the fellow award members. You are all amazing. Thank you.
Amber, I'm so glad that your family could be here to see this too. Next is Lenny Rowe and Jacoby Chambliss. They were nominated by Claude Tankersley, our Public Works Director here in St. Pete. So Lenny and Jacoby, would you all come up? All right, so let's face it, during the storms, it was pretty dangerous to be out on the roads. You had people who didn't evacuate, who at the last minute or after the storms were trying to hit the roads. There were emergency responders on the streets. And it was pretty dangerous because as we lost power and the wind and floods knocked out a lot of public services, it really took a hammer to our traffic signals. Lenny and Jacoby went above and beyond. They are experts here with the Traffic Operations Division for the city. They were working days and nights during the entire emergency, even as the storm surge, the winds, and Milton included, they bear down on us. They worked to restore 200 signalized intersections that were severely damaged, just completely knocked out during the storms. So I want to thank you. You all have probably saved lives because people were frantic. They were trying to get out of harm's way. As their homes flooded, many of them just took to the streets just trying to find a safe place to go. And you all made sure that they could get there safely, working day and night. Really, you went above and beyond, and I'm so grateful for your service. Claude, what do you think? Can you come and share a little bit about their story?
So I can't add too much more than what the Congresswoman said, but I do want to hit on the point about the over 200 intersections. We have just over 300 intersections within the city of St. Pete. So 2/3 of our intersections were damaged during the storm. And normally during a storm, we might lose power to an intersection, but the signal heads are still there, the cabinets are still working. In this case, we had signal heads completely lost. They were hanging by a thread. We had cabinets that had to be completely replaced. And so this team had to get all of that up and running as quickly as possible, and we are indebted to you and very grateful to you. Thank you. Thank you, Council.
Come on, Miss Lynn. Well, like she said, yeah, we had quite a time during the storms. Like she said, over 200 intersections. Seems like more than that. Yeah. Over 200 intersections were down, and like you said, we lost a lot of power. We lost a lot of signals, a lot of cabinets that we got to get replaced and restored. It was a tough time, but traffic signals team, they all stood up. I'd like them to stand up and give yourself a hand. We got Mr. Jackson, AJ Clinton. Yeah, this is some of my traffic signal team. We got our director over here. He put together a good team to get these things done. Not only the intersections, but we did preparations for the storm with the sandbags, and we did countless hours of sandbagging. So I just want to thank everybody. It's a special award. we do it for no recognition, but it's always nice to be recognized. So we appreciate y'all. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Oh, you did good. You recognize the team. As long as you recognize the team, I'm good.
Come on, Miss Lynn. And I also want to thank my mom, dad. Thank my mom and dad. Thank my wife. My wife also came out today. And I appreciate you guys showing up, showing me the support.
And actually,
Thank you.
What I was going to say, ditto. I want to thank my daughter and my wife for their support. You did? You did the team.
Good job.
Did he look sharp or what? Like it, like it. Next is Nancy Dunham, who was nominated by Nikki Gaskin Capehart, the CEO of Pinellas County Urban League. Nancy, come on. You're going to love this story. Nancy Dunham is a small business owner here in St. Pete, of Fancy Nancy Professional Services, and she's a navigator for the Pinellas County Urban League's Next Level Urban Alliance Entrepreneurial Center. She was instrumental in crafting an impromptu hometown recovery haulers program to remove debris after the storms. You all know what the streets look like here in St. It was unlike anything we had ever seen, and so frustrating because it was the tangible mark of the pain and destruction and the draw on our wallets. And you know, people were very frustrated, I know, because it stayed out there for days, and you're used to the swift pickup of everything in St. Pete. But the extent of this was unlike anything we have ever seen. So the Hometown Recovery Haulers was a stroke of genius. By working with small hauling businesses, the City of St. Pete, the Urban League, and community leaders, Nancy's hard work and leadership earned local hauling small businesses close to $1.5 million as they were out on the street getting it done. They hauled over 5,247 loads to collection sites and really helped move the City of St. Pete into this disaster response into a real recovery, and brought people peace of mind and helped us get back on our feet. What do you think, Nikki? What can you say?
I actually want to ask Councilmember
Deborah,
to come
yeah,
forward
come on.
because it was her and myself and Dr. Tomlin and Gypsy Gallardo.
That sounds like a get it done team.
Yeah, so we all come to this work from a place of having collaborated before together. And we knew that there would be some opportunities for the community to step in because I've always said before, government cannot do it alone. And so as an Urban League partner, working with all of our elected officials and our community groups and then our grassroots entrepreneurs who really understand and could make the connection like Nancy did to those other haulers so that we can continue to build generational wealth and share some of the love across the spectrum of disaster recovery. And that is what we wanted to do. We were all determined from the beginning to work on recovery and resiliency. And this was one of those innovative programs that we should all be proud of. And other cities are taking note and modeling what we're doing here in St. Pete. So let's not take that for granted. Thank you so much, Nancy, for answering the charge, getting people registered immediately. We were all just everything we could to get people there as soon as possible to take advantage of this opportunity. So we just want to thank you again. Councilmember Fake Sanders, you want to say anything?
Ditto. So first and foremost, I want to thank you guys all for being here. On behalf of the hometown haulers, first and foremost, what I do want to do is take a moment of silence in the midst of this hurricanes. We have lost two of my haulers. To me, it's like my haulers because they're part of my program per se. So I do want to do a moment of silence to Mr. Patrick Ruffin, and then we also had Clinton Blue, who passed away unfortunately after this here happened. So they're no longer with us. If you guys don't mind, please take a moment of silence for them. All right, thank you guys. Now, as far as the Hometown Haulers program goes in itself, I would definitely have to give a big shout out to Miss Nikki K. Part of the Urban League in itself, just for one, believing in me, and two, giving me the opportunity to actually reach out to my local community. In the midst of that there, I was able to accumulate all those people quickly because one thing about it, haulers, no haulers, tours, no tours, plumbers, no, so it's just a network. All you have to do is get the word out. What I will say in the midst of me recruiting these people here is that I was able to have intimate conversations with them, conversations that they would not have shared on a regular day with other people. In the midst of one of these conversations, what I want to share with you guys is just one person, and privacy-wise, I won't say who it is, but they actually divulged and told me that they were a second away from taking their life, meaning that they were $1,500 short of being the man of their household. He's a husband, so he's a provider. And he's been constantly trying to get, employed with the city, trying to do different jobs, to keep his house afloat and just be that man that his father taught him to be. This program allowed him to make, well, originally, he was also grateful too. Originally, the program started off at $200 a load. Shortly after, our mayor of St. Pete increased their pay to additional $100, so they went up to $100. He didn't care, he was out there with the $200. But $300 a load, he was able to change that deficit that he had in his household. Since then, he has opened up an LLC. He's currently working with the Pinellas County Urban League with their Next Level Alliance unit. Again, I can't thank you guys enough for that program in itself. That program has continued that momentum of this hometown haulers, and they're recruiting intentionally small businesses of the community to help them advance whatever areas they were suffering in. They have programs. They're connected naturally with the greenhouse, SMBC. There are so many programs that they naturally have resources with, and they're willing to put these people with it. We have seen success in it, so I'm definitely happy to be a part of that program. Ms. Nikki did take me on as one of her business navigators there, so and despite that, I do have one of my haulers in this audience with me also, who I'd like to share my stage with also. I'm not one person who takes all the credit for anything, but I do share my space also. I do want to say a special thank you to our mayor, Mayor Welch in general, because sometimes, even though he's the mayor, he does not make these options. These things happen by himself. So the fact that he was pushing these issues and believed in the community, and I have a advantage of this also. I'm part of his leadership alliance. And within his pillars of his leadership alliance, he states that he wants to keep all his money in the city of St. Pete. What is the best way to keep it? We have money. Let's find our local people. Let's give it to them. And then, because keep in mind, most of us do not want to leave St. Pete. We're being forced to leave. There's not like, we have things we want to do here, but if we had the income and, our businesses are flourishing, we will stay longer. So I do want to call right now Mr. Ronald Gibson just to do a brief release of his experience with that. Mr. Gibson was one of my original placard holders. That's what the city of St. Pete called them, placard holders. And in the midst of him coming in, I actually spoke to him separately and told him to subcontract so that we can have additional people in more households be able to get covered with that money that was available for him. And he was one of the people that took that lead for me, and I appreciate you for that also. All right, Mr.
How's everyone?
Great.
This program, it allowed us to, I hired, I believe, 30 people. We started 5 businesses, LLCs, one being a chicken wing business. Also, we have a tree service, and also my son, who just turned 20, who was part of the program, he started his own hauling company. We were trying to. This was the first time. I have a remodeling business, so I'm used to always trying to help people. I put my remodeling business on hold to help because it was crazy to ride to $1 million houses to go work and see all these people whole life belongings in front that I knew I can do something to help. Ms. Nancy reached out to me and gave me an opportunity to put some things together. We put our heads together, and it was a beautiful thing. It was a beautiful thing. We definitely cleaned up the city. We wish it could have lasted longer, but I think we know what to do if we run into this problem again. And it was a beautiful thing. I thank everyone who was involved in it, especially who gave Ms. Nancy this opportunity to do this, because, I mean, I met so many great people out there, not just the workers, the haulers, but the homeowners as well. And yeah, it was a good thing that you all guys came collectively together to put this program together. Thank you.
That's fantastic. And Mayor, that must make you feel. So were you wiping your eye a little bit? You had something in your eye? Because isn't that so true to how important it is to keep the dollars circulating locally rather than try to bring in outside contractors, because those dollars circulate and they help lift up everyone. Next, Roger Johnson, who's an engineering design manager with the stormwater division here at the city, was nominated by Claude Tankersley. This is another great story because Roger led the efforts to develop the St. Pete Agile Resilience Plan, or SPAR, for involving all of the stormwater he's done this in the 4 months since Milton. SPAR is an accelerated approach to strengthening the city's infrastructure, ensuring long-term resilience in the face of climate challenges. And this really shined a light on a lot of the weaknesses, and we better prepare now, and it's better to spend those repair dollars making our infrastructure stronger and more resilient, because it's going to save us money the next time we're hit by a storm. During this time, he was also dealing with the loss of his own Shore Acres home from Hurricane Helene. He also had to deal with the deaths of 2 primary family members in the same 4-month period. But he never stopped taking care of the city while he was also taking care of his storm-displaced family. Roger, you're an example of the unbelievable talent here in the city of St. Petersburg, that you would devote your time and talents to making this community stronger at a time when you're personally dealing with so much pain is simply an example for all of us. We can all, no matter what your challenge in life, take the example of Roger and understand that you're not alone out there, that there are a lot of folks going through so much. But oftentimes, if you're working for a broader purpose, that can help get you through. So Claude, what did you see during this time from Roger?
I also appreciate, Congresswoman, you allowing me to come up here twice. I have an amazing team, a team that's dedicated to protecting this community. And one of the things that attracted me to Roger's contributions was the fact that unless you knew him, you wouldn't know what he was going through outside of work. He's definitely an unsung hero. He's a behind-the-scenes kind of person that will support you and build you up, but he doesn't like this limelight. So I know right now he's cussing me in his mind. But the thing that's really, really important, I want all of you to remember, and I want our audience to remember this: SPAR. Everybody, we need to memorize SPAR, St. Pete Agile Resilience. It's a way of getting things done quickly now to prepare for future storms. And the thing that Roger did was in a 4-month period, he put together a $250 million program for our stormwater system, for a 5-year program, in a 4-month period that actually usually takes us several years to put together. And he put it together in a 4-month period under the stress and strain not only of his job but his personal life. Never complained, never let anybody know what was going on, and always delivered. So, in future storms, when you see the improvements to our stormwater systems and you're grateful for it, I want you to remember SPAR, and I want you to remember Roger Johnson.
First off, I want to thank everyone for being here. Thanks for setting us up. I can talk about SPAR if you want. First off, I had a really hard time when Claude called me about this. The whole hero name is hard for me to take credit for, honestly. So I really want to accept this for the people around me, personally and professionally, because without them, none of this would be possible. So this isn't me being a hero. This is me doing, like Amber said, what I'm supposed to be doing. Sometimes life gets in the way, but you got to keep moving forward. So our SPAR program is that. It's going to try and help expedite some of the things forward to help us be more resilient in the future. Again, we were tasked with an assignment to put together a program. It wasn't me, it was all of us putting this together. So again, I want to accept this based off of everybody around me supporting me and everybody around me helping build this program, and we look forward to moving it forward. Thanks.
That's incredible. Thank you. Next is Logan Smith. Yay! Nominated by Mayor Welch and Yolanda Fernandez, a Community Awareness Division Manager for St. Pete PD. Come on up, Mayor and Yolanda. Great. Good morning, Logan. Come on over here.
I'm never up at the podium. I'm typically back there.
Guess what? Logan was nominated by as a hurricane hero as she worked incredibly long hours in the Emergency Operations Center. Those were long, long days and nights during and after the storm. She worked to ensure that everyone across the city of St. Pete could be in touch with each other, could effectively made sure really that the city's vital information could reach residents. It was truly remarkable to see how Logan maintained a professional demeanor and continued to work diligently on behalf of the city. Again, even while her home suffered significant damage and her family was displaced. She didn't even take time to go to her home to see the extent of the devastation until her work in the Emergency Operations Center was finished. You are a remarkable public servant. There was so much swirling around, I mean literally swirling around, and you understood what was happening better than just about everyone, and yet even in the midst of this, with your family, your home, your neighbors, you stayed on task and made sure that the entire city and all of our neighbors could get the most reliable information. We're grateful to you. What do you think, Mayor?
I'm going to let Yolanda go first.
All right, Yolanda, what do you think?
Thank you, Congresswoman. I have to say that during emergency situations, Logan and I work on the communications team together. But everything that you see that comes from the city, the website, those debris handouts so that you know what to do with your debris, the videos, the explainers, all of that comes from Logan, through Logan and her team out to city members, to city residents. It's such an important role, and she is a pleasure to work with. She is always pleasant, and she's so incredibly efficient. And it was surprising to see how she handled everything when she knew her own home was so severely damaged, and her own family, I mean, they were living out of a hotel. So I just want to say, Logan, you're one of my heroes. I'm very proud of the work that you did. You did a terrific job.
So let me just add on to that. Yolanda and Logan do a fantastic job, but I do want to thank Logan's family, because Logan, this is our Emergency Operations Center. And so Logan did live here during those hurricanes. Remember, there were only, 9 days between Helene and Milton? Was it 9 days? And you think about the stress of the situation. Our most important job is to communicate to the public what is coming. And so beyond the 2 press conferences a day 11 and 5, but also coordinating in this very room radio, TV, international interviews. Her team coordinated all of those things. I'm looking at you, Flan. I'm having flashbacks even as I look at you. But with a sense of calm and always thinking about how we communicate to the community, how to stay safe, what is coming next, you know, if we're going to have to shut down a sewer plant or potable water, or even how to recover safely. Our web access, mobile, all those things we're throwing at Logan to get a message out that's clear to folks so they know how to take that next step and be safe. So I couldn't thank you enough for the work that you've done. I want to thank Yolanda as well. It is a team effort, and congratulations. Hope we don't have to do this for a long time.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Here, come with her.
Okay.
I'm never up here. I'm always back there. And I don't know how all of y'all have done this without notes, because I'm a crier, so I'm not going to be able to get through it, so I had to write a couple things down. Thank you very much for doing this. Oh, no. And Yolanda, thank you so much for she's right there with me. So, I mean, really, you're up here with me, so thank you so much. Yeah. I think I have the sentiment from everyone else that has come up here. We don't do this alone. This entire team back here, Michael Flanagan, Kyle, everyone who's here, Eliza, my whole comms team, they were all here the whole time. So thank you guys so much. And the entire city team. I mean, it really is, I guess I'm not going to read this. It really is pretty amazing to be a part of this and see all of the city team members come together and just do their jobs, but do their jobs with putting all of their personal stuff aside. It's a really kind of traumatic thing to be a part of, but it's actually really, really amazing at the same exact time. So I really am grateful that I get to stand beside you all. And really, communications, someone said this recently, that, you know, no one ever says, wow, communications, you guys did an awesome job. There's always feedback, there's always room for improvement, but we try really hard. So please know that, everyone. That's my one opportunity to say that, but really, we try really hard, and there were so many things happening. It was really unprecedented times. There were so many different messages to get out that were really unique to this situation, so we'll keep working to do better, but really, thank you so much. I think that's it. Oh yes, these two, they're the best.
What do you have there?
This is Ben and Landon. We're almost done, Landon. She's 4, so Ben and Landon. Yep. Yeah, it was really to be here and know. I think that's the hardest part, and I think that would probably be everyone's testament here, especially if your home was damaged. It's really hard to be here and know that of the chaos that's happening at home, and I wouldn't be able to do it without my husband. He actually is in remediation as well, so this is his crazy. So both of us, we always say the hurricane season really tests our marriage. We made it through another one, so hopefully. But and Landon, you're the best. So she was such a trooper going back to the house and seeing it, and she was like, I can't wait to have a new house. So I was like, okay, all right, we're good. You know, a lot of her toys got damaged and were gone, but you were like, we're good, right? You were awesome. So thank you guys so much. Thanks. Oh, sorry.
You all couldn't see the great pride that Landon has in watching her mom that I could see. It's pretty cool. I hope these stories today gives you some hope and just reconfirms how special this community is. It truly is. And Mayor, thank you again, and Councilwoman and our fantastic chiefs. Everyone here helped this community get through it. And we're not done. We have a lot of work to do on rebuilding. And as your federal representative, you can count on me to fight for every resource to help us rebuild. I was very proud of the millions and millions of dollars that flowed in from FEMA to our neighbors, from the Small Business Administration. Right now there are millions of dollars for small business loans to small businesses and to homeowners to help them rebuild. If you don't know about the SBA small business loans, disaster loans for individual homeowners, please talk to me or someone with my team. I filed a bill. It's the first bill I introduced in this Congress called the Rebuild and Save Act that would raise the cap on the amount of money you can get from that disaster loan to repair your home if you're putting it towards resilience. Right now you can put 20% of that small business disaster rebuilding loan towards making your home stronger. It gives you a bonus, but I want to raise that up to 30%, and that means for some homes maybe up to $50,000 additional dollars to help you make your home more resilient to the next storm. Think about the folks who are trying to elevate right now. It's very cost prohibitive, but if they have a little extra money, oftentimes that makes it doable. There's also a lot of turmoil in the world right now, but you can take great pride in the fact you live in the city of St. Petersburg. You live in such a wonderful community, and as Nikki Capehart said, government can't do it all, but we look out for our neighbors, we look out for each other. That's going to continue no matter what happens. We're all in this together. I'd also like to invite you, we're going to move on and do a Black History celebration at the Woodson, and you're all invited to come over there. I know that we're going to also pay tribute to the Courageous 12, the Black law enforcement officers who, after the Civil Rights Act of 1964, were the first officers to desegregate the police force. Just as we see our second African-American police chief and celebrate Tony Holloway as the first ever excuse me, Holloway's the second chief, and Chief Watts, first African-American fire chief in the city. So progress continues. I also want to thank Nikki Capehart and the Pinellas County Urban League for sponsoring refreshments this morning from Baja. Southern cooking, can't wait. And I wish you all a happy St. Pete Grand. We have one more? Oh boy. I'm sorry. I was on a roll. I think you you took my attention away. Okay, so now that I've closed out, we're going to go back in time, and then I don't have to do that again. Then you know where we're headed. Gosh, Lisa, come on up. I'm sorry. This is an incredible woman to cap off our celebration. Lisa Vickers is the CEO of the Spear Dream Foundation. Spear Dream Foundation provided over $600,000 directly towards assisting individuals and families at a time when they really needed financial relief. I was talking about how FEMA is on the ground and all that, but they can't do it all, and those funds don't arrive as quickly as in an emergency. Lisa partnered with 9 of the nonprofits that the foundation supports by providing them with funds to then redirect the grant monies to those in need, trusting that those organizations would know firsthand who needed the help. She was able to provide Pinellas neighbors with gift cards ranging from $250 to $5,000 to help folks get groceries, to get the essentials that they needed at that time. Her son, JC, is currently serving in the Navy, and daughter Lacey were both instrumental in helping the entire community and all the hurricane victims at that time. I'm so glad your home didn't flood.
Little. But not like everybody else.
But that allowed you to just keep your heart wide open and focus on helping our neighbors. And we're grateful to you. You were nominated by David Jisick, the president and CEO of the YMCA. David, here? Come on up. Good morning.
I didn't nominate her alone. I'd like to invite the other organizations that were recipients to come up because we're going to get in a photo with Lisa. I want to make sure Gina, others.
You want the list?
No. Well, they're here. They know they're here. Let me just say that, Tim Whipple is the executive director of the Spear Dream Foundation, a good friend of mine, and he, like everyone here, received an email or a text message that we're having a meeting. Lisa called a meeting. And, when Lisa calls a meeting, everybody comes, right? She has a giving heart. Lisa, you truly do have a giving heart. In fact, from the Wise perspective, we have two facilities, significant facilities, named after her family, the Spear Preschool Academy and the Spear YMCA. And, so we're okay with the confusion that causes when people show up at the Spear Preschool Academy to work out, but that's okay. We're okay with that confusion. We could have another one, anyway. It was a really special moment when she called us all together for a meeting to determine how best to support the community. And, each organization represented here serves in unique ways, and we have familiarity with our clients and people that we engage with. And so just to share a quick story, I've never had an opportunity in my 42 years in the Y to actually visit with a gentleman that I knew that had a sense of pride. I called him after the hurricanes and I said, "How you doing?" He said, I'm fine. He told me about the devastation of his house. And I hung up the phone and I went to that meeting and I thought, well, there's an individual that maybe I need to go and help. And I went to his house. He lives in South St. Pete, and he's in his 90s. And I stood there and told him I was going to give him a $5,000 grant that the Spirit Dream Foundation had provided, and he started crying, and I started crying. And I would tell you, he didn't want to ask for help. And after I told him what we were going to do, and it just really meant so much for him. And again, a man of pride and not wanting to ask for help, but when the help came, the tears flowed, and very grateful for the opportunity. And so on behalf of all the organizations here, thank you, Lisa, for having such a generous, kind, giving heart to allow us to serve our community.
Well, you're never say good morning. Yeah.
Good morning. Thank you, guys. I just want to say thank you again to Lisa. We have our foundation, and we're kind of self-funded and by our company, so the extra help meant a lot. We found so many people in underserved communities around our area that needed the boots-on-the-ground help, and the Spirit Dream Foundation gave us the funding to be able to do that, to be able to give away this money. Between $500 and $5,000 can change somebody's life. And the Spirit Dream Foundation, with help with our great city leaders, Mayor Welch and all of you folks, everybody working together, I think that was the most beautiful thing to see in such a terrible time. Thank you.
Can we get a photo with the whole team here? Why don't we just you want to say something first?
Yes. Okay. Because there's a couple people I want to have in the photo that aren't here.
Good.
First of all, I want to say thank you so much to everybody. This was a big surprise, and what an honor. And I'm very humbled to have this award. And as you can see by everybody standing up here, it's not me. We don't do it alone. There is no way we could do it alone. And who's represented here is the Coast Guard Foundation, Countryside Cares, Hands Across the Bay, Heroes of St. Pete Police and Fire Rescue, Reach St. Pete, the St. Pete Fools Charities, the Kind Mouse, the YMCA of Greater St. Petersburg, and Whatever It Takes Foundation. And I am thankful to all of these organizations from the bottom of my heart, because as a foundation, we are not allowed by IRS regulations to to give to individuals, we have to give to a 501c3. So when I came back in town and saw the devastation in this city that I grew up in, raised my children in, and loved, I wanted to help. And I knew that we couldn't do everything for everyone, but we could be that bridge while they were waiting for a FEMA loan or for their insurance or something. And just to give, just to be a gap, just to be the bridge. And that's what we were able to do. And I want to take a moment, if you will allow me, and sorry, but it's going to happen. JC, please stand up. This is my son, who I'm very proud of.
All right, JC.
And I want to say that he and his sister Lacey, you know that you've done a good job, and I'm very proud, Mom. When he took time off, he took vacation from the military, from the Navy, and came down here and helped people they didn't know. Both of them went over to communities, drove around. He had a truck, drove around the communities. They were ripping out drywall, cleaning out houses, hauling furniture, shoveling sand and dirt, cleaning laundry, doing all kinds of backbreaking work for people that they never saw again, didn't know, hadn't met. And it warmed my heart that my children would do that. And I didn't ask. I didn't have to ask. They just did it all on their own and surprised me, told me later that they were doing it. And I also want to thank Tim Whipple and Heidi Green, who are here at from the Sphere Dream Foundation. Tim is our executive director and Heidi is our comptroller. I couldn't do anything. The foundation couldn't do anything without the two of them. They are truly the lifeblood that makes it, keeps it running. And then last but not least, my husband, Brett. He stood by my side. He's my rock. He's helped with the foundation. He's a place that I can come to when everything is crashing down. He's my sounding board, my voice of reason. His direction and vision with the foundation has helped propel it forward. And I want to thank you, Brett, for being my husband, my friend, my confidant, my rock. And so I appreciate it so much. I want to ask. Can't use it later. Okay, it's just for now. I'd like for JC and Brett to please come up, because what I want to say is, please come up and stand up front, because what I want to say is, thank you so much for this award, but as you can see, I heard you say earlier, it takes a village. It takes everyone. I'm accepting this on behalf of everyone and all the people in their organization that work so hard to figure out the needs to the individuals and help people that were needed. Like, I'll give you an example. Tim Whipple, our executive director, they knew him very well at Home Depot because he bought every dehumidifier, sorry, and was going around and passing them out to homes and having people use them, and then when they were done, grabbing them and taking them to the next street down. It's things like that that made the difference and were able to help us. So I'm just thankful to everyone, and I appreciate all of you guys so much.
And Tim had to stop Lisa from giving away all the money.
Well, I came back and I'm like, we're not giving any grants to anybody. We're helping everybody. He's like, no.
What'd you get it up to, $850?
Yeah, $850. I got it up to $850. So that's what we've been able to do, and that's the nice thing. It's everything from the $250 up to $5,000. And what it did is, for people who just lost their power and couldn't afford to put the essentials back in their refrigerator, we were able to do that to people who needed a place to live while they were waiting for their insurance. So it really we were able to do so much because of them. So thank you.
So why don't we go there for the
Okay.
picture rather than...
Okay.
And help us get fit everyone in. Hey, nicely done.
Sir, let's wait just a little bit.
Here, Lisa. I just shared with Lisa what extraordinary generosity she's displayed, and Brad and Lacey, thank you, or JC, thank you. Mayor, this must make you incredibly proud. It's so inspiring. We're St. Pete, is that what you want to say? Well, thanks everybody. Thank you for being part of this celebration. And if you know of anyone else who needs a pat on the back, who you saw, like the folks here today, just displayed extraordinary generosity or heroism, someone who's modest, who often doesn't get the recognition they need, will you please let us know in our office, let the mayor know so we can celebrate them too. But we are going to rebuild. We're going to be stronger and more resilient. We're going to be ready for whatever comes ahead. But I hope you take away a little bit of inspiration from these stories today and these incredible, incredible neighbors who just gave everything to make sure the rest of the community was healthy and well. Okay, thanks. Let's party. Yep.